This will be Joel part 1, and I think we're going to have another one that doesn't have much to go on here. Need the lights on. I started working on it ahead of time, and I was going to go through here, and I was going to which words needed to be corrected. But what I did was, as I started going through here trying to make a format, the yellows just didn't seem to be needed, or it looked like they were added. So if this was going to be a 2-verse, this one was going to be wrong. And if I needed it, then it would have been there for the 3rd verse. But the problem is when I started reading this, seriously looking for prophecy, there's not anything here, just like the last one. Can't remember which one it was. What did we do last time? Let me look, because it was absolutely completely junk, the whole thing. And it got pretty bad. Zechariah's. So the thing here is this text, again, has really no prophecy. For example, when I'm going through here, we're going to be talking about the locusts eating up things, okay? And then whatever is left, another one's going to come around and eat up. And then then it's going to be all the drunkards are going to wail. Like drunkards are supposed to be killed, okay? So the thing here is because there's no wine for his mouth. Then there's going to be a kingdom that invades his land. It would be your land to make it right. But then it's about the lion's teeth and the fangs of a lioness. I mean, when you start looking here we got my vine will be wasted and my fig trees and splinters. Branches will become white. Wail like a virgin, gird with sackcloth for the bridegroom of her youth. What happened to her bridegroom? Or what happened to the groom? Because you don't need bridegroom, you need a groom. Okay? So the object is why is she crying? Why is she wearing sackcloth? And here we got a grain offering and the libation. Our Creator never asked for a libation, okay? Then whatever, they're going to be cut off from his house, okay? And then the priests are going to mourn. And they are the ministers. The priests are the ministers. They aren't separate, okay? They are ministering as priests to function for his sin offerings. But as we go down here a little bit more, again, the land's going to dry up and there's going to be no more wine or oil. Then it's the wheat and barley fields are going to be destroyed. But that's all about a famine. I haven't seen anything of the text to be about a famine. So here I'm just going to scroll slowly through here, and I'm hoping you're reading, because I'm leaving it large enough on the screen there so you're getting that you can look down and see some of this stuff when I'm ahead of this, or it can be ahead of me here, because the priests are going to wail, and then the ministers of the altar. There's nothing here like a prophecy. And you've seen the other prophecies that I have been able to find. They'll have maybe 3 or 4 of these verses that explaining why they went away or how they're falling away or something like that. And then there's another 3 of these groupings that will tell the prophecy of what's going to happen to them. Not just dry up and then repeat the same thing over and over again. So now there's just going to be a day of destruction from the Almighty. Now, where is it? I mean, what is going to be the destruction from the Almighty? Okay. Well, the seeds are going to shrivel up in their clods, and the storehouses are going to be desolate. The barns are going to be torn down. The grain's going to dry up. But we had the grain drying up already. See, these are, I really got I really went over these in detail in the last one for the first hour. The second hour I just raced through it because it was I couldn't find nothing. And like these, when I went through here and started dividing up, you can see how I've got them in groups, you know, and how they would, if you needed a 3-verse or a 4-verse, or this is how you'd find them. But the object is there's nothing being said here. The flames are going to burn up all the trees of the field. Even the beasts of the field are going to die from the flames. So, anyways, here, now we're going to, in chapter 2, we're going to blow a trumpet in Zion, and there's no holy mountain here in Israel. There are no mountains. Darkness and gloom, thickness of clouds, dawn spread over the mountains. That would be okay, that's supposed to happen, I guess. And then a great and mighty people that has never seen anything like it. And there will not be again after it in many generations, before a fire consumes before them, behind them flames burn. But this is not, the land is like a Garden of Eden. Desolate is a wilderness behind them. I mean, there is no story here anywhere. Okay, now here, no, because they're going to leap on the top of the mountains like crackling on fire, and fire consumes the stubble. I was thinking that when I looked down here that this is how a prophecy would start, or start speaking, either for what's going to happen to them. This was what it would be, because the mighty people would be ranged for battle. Before them people will be in anguish, all their faces will be turned to pale. They run like mighty men, they climb the wall like soldiers. They even march in the line, they do not deviate from their path. But where are they going, and how come they didn't get there? They burst through the defenses, break down the ranks, well, not break ranks. But then they're going to enter the windows like a thief. All the stars are going to lose their brightness. Our Creator doesn't say foolish things like this. Utters his voice before his army. He's never done that. So most likely this is all just fake stuff here. I mean, there's nothing here that I'm seeing that's truthful or enough to say that I have a prophecy. I'm just not seeing it. Either bride comes out or it's the groom, not a bridegroom. Okay, you don't use that in today's language. They sure wouldn't have used it then. Now the priests are going to weep between the porch and the altar. Now there's actually altars, 13 of them. And then he's going to be zealous for his own land. Like, he isn't worried about the land. He's worried about people being obedient to him, and then he is rewarding them with them able to live in heaven. Okay, and he's telling us that there's going to be a separation between the people that he's created that are obedient to him and not obedient to him. Okay, think of it as this way. Say that you're a creator, and before created the universe, because we have an estimate time of, say, how we understand a day, and we can relate it to a number saying 14 billion years is all this is existence been around. But if our creator is, which means to us always is, always has been, has been is kind of like even false words because it refers to a beginning. I'm trying to tell you that he is, and in our time, even if he was 100 trillion billion years old, this little bit of time that we're in now is nothing in his experience of being. Why wouldn't he have created angels before and be like him, just existing? Don't need an earth, don't need to eat food, don't need things. But the object here is that if he did that, which pretty much likely he did, I have text I could point out that Jesus says he was around before the world was made. I got words from our Creator saying that before the world was made. This is what he made the world for, is for Jesus to have a kingdom and to have servants under him. And then if we were with him before this creation, all of a sudden, say that for a couple trillion, hundreds of trillions of years, that beings didn't care about our Creator. Well, the problem is our Creator knew that they were existing with him wherever he was at anyway. So this, what we're seeing here on earth is him dividing out the difference of the people and getting rid of those that don't want to be obedient to him. But he's not going to get rid of them. They're just going to exist without him in a different space and time. And if you don't think it's going on in other places in this universe, then you're just foolish and don't understand the length of time our Creator has existed, okay, and the beings that he did create. So he sure isn't as stupid as what they're making him out to be. It'll be parched and desolate. We're talking about fields and beasts that have nothing to do with forever life. And all of a sudden we have these trees and fruits and vines not living, bearing their fruit. Big deal. Oh, yeah. The vats are going to overflow for the drunkards, for the new wine and oil. Now we come back again to the locusts, how they're going to eat and strip out everything, and yet that was way up there before. Now, I guess when I get to this, I'm not seeing, well, gee whiz, I'm on page 3 of 5, and it's only been 13 minutes, and I'm not seeing anything here yet to be able to say there is a prophecy here. For his spirit will pour out on all mankind. Mankind's the evil one. So why would his word or his breath, because he doesn't have a spirit, okay? He has a soul, but he doesn't have a spirit. And that's the problem with people that don't understand the difference between a soul and a spirit. And just look at this sentence here. And it will come about after this. If you were to say that these were to hook together, does this even need to exist here? My people will never be put to shame, but I will pour out my wrath on mankind. I mean, you can get rid of words that just don't have nothing in them to have a substance to talk about. Usually every verse has something that I can usually build a story to tell you why or when these words would have been said. Because right now the only ones that we've got are priests, but they don't say what's going to happen to the priests. So I can't tell you what time, but I would say that, okay, we're talking about the kingdom of Judah, or not the kingdom, the nation of Judah. I've got to learn to make sure I say the difference there between the two now that I'm being word specific. I wasn't doing that as good as I should have. I've learned. And all those who escape among the survivors. And he's going to restore the fortunes. He doesn't restore fortunes. He's holding the family unit together is the true blessing of life on earth. If the family starts falling apart, it's because they are leaving him. Okay. This is a king, but and this would have to be in Judah. And my inheritance, Israel. No, if you're talking about Judah, you don't talk about Israel. The prophecy is usually longer, and if it is about both of them, there's stories we're starting about one and how they're falling away, and how Judah, how it's starting to spread to Judah. But that isn't what we have here at all. Oh boy, yeah, they're gonna trade a boy for a harlot and a girl for a glass. Can you imagine selling your child just to screw some girl for a day? I don't get the logic of how a writer would say this is how our Creator is going to define a prophecy. I mean, it's just, this is all made up. This is just junk. There's nothing here. Yeah, this is another one that's just junk. Put the sickle in, the harvest is ripe. Tread for the wine. Again, the wine has to be there. The sun and moon will grow dark, and the stars will lose their brightness. I think they tried using that sentence above. Never happens. Never happened. Edom's been gone for so long, it's not funny. David's time got rid of Edom as a kingdom. So why is our Creator speaking about that? Well, Egypt will become a waste. Well, Cairo still exists today. That was also Memphis and also On. I don't know which one was first or second off the top of my head, whether it was named On and then they named it Memphis. Probably depended on who was king at that time. And you can see we ended with nothing. All this is going to be all made small, thrown out, not useful, not true. And that one is how it goes, folks. Just absolutely junk. But you can see that the one, like you see the copyrights here, I did these and I have them in this format all broken down. And then I think I renumbered them all. Can't remember my copyrights from 95 what I did, but this is what I did was I broke them all down because there was a loophole. I got through owning the copyrights to the Bible because of a loophole in the law that says I can use every word in order from the New American Standard Bible or any other Bible that I wanted to use, and then it has to be in a different style. And that's why you see a lot of your Bibles now having so many different ways that you can read it. A study Bible, ones with paragraphs, ones with smaller little groups. That's so somebody can't copy that text and use it word for word. I got away with it. I know what I'm doing here. So, because see this format here? I own this. It's 97 or 95 when I got it registered in the Library of Congress. So everything I'm showing you this way is legal for me. If you tried to do this with another Bible and try to publish it, I'd be stopping you and suing you. So anyways, nothing here to speak about here. So this one is absolutely false.